नुयामदेवा भद्रं पश्येर्माक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्ट्वागुंसस्तनो भिवसे महि देवहितं जदायुः सतमिन्नुसरदो अन्तिदेवा जत्रा नशक्रा जरसन्तनूनाम पुत्रासो जत्रा पितरो भवन्ति मानो मद्यारीरिखतायुर्गन्तोः आदितिर्द्योरदितिरन्तरिक्षमदितिर्माता स पिता स पुत्रः विश्वे देवा अदितिः पञ्चजना आदितिर्जातमदितिर्जनित्वं द्योः शान्तिरन्तरिक्षगुं शान्तिः पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोषधयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवाः शान्ति ब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्वगुं शान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्तिः सामा शान्तिरेधि। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यास विशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दे यत्पत्रनेत्रम् येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णये प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमया प्रदीपः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमया प्रदीपः नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवकीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वे ब्रह्मनिधये वसिष्ठाय नमो नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नीलाम्भुजश्यामलकोमलाङ्गं सीतासमारोपितवामभागं पाण्डो महासायकचारुचापं नमामि रामं रघुवंशनाथं नमामि रामं रघुवंशनाथं। बोलिए सियापति रामचंद्र भगवान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, व्यास जी महाराज की जय, सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय।
वर्णानां अमृत संगानाम रसानाम चंद्र सामपी मंगलानाम चक्रतारो देवाणी विनायको देवाणी विनायको। सभी लोग खड़े हो जाएं। एवरीवन प्लीज स्टैंड। आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कलित ललित। आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कलित ललित श्रियपी की। गावत ब्रह्मादिक मुनि नारद वाल्मीकि विज्ञान विशारद सुख संतादिशेष अनुसारद वर्णि पवन सुत कीरतनी की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कलित ललित श्रियपी की। वेद पुराण अष्टदश चाहु शास्त्र सब ग्रंथन को रस। मुनि जन धन संतन को सर्वस सार अंश सम्मत सबरी की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कलित ललित श्रियपी की। कलिमल हरनि विषय रस पी की। सुभग श्रृंगार मूर्ति युवती की। दलन रोग भवमुरियमी की। नाथ मत सब तुलसी की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कलित ललित श्रियपी की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कलित ललित श्रियपी की। श्री राम। सभी लोग आसन लीजिए। Everyone please be seated. We clasp our hands and bow our heads as we offer obeisance to the Divine Lord. Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Shri Ram Ram Raghunandan Ram Shri Ram Ram Bharata Raj Ram Ram Shri Ram Ram Danakarkash Ram Ram Shri Ram Ram Sharanam Bhava Ram Ram Shri Ram Ram Sharanam We contemplate the Divine Lord in the form of the deity we call Ganesh. Appealing to Bhagavan in this form, we are appealing to God for help in focusing all of our faculties, Panch Gyanendriyas, sense of sight, hearing, smell, taste and touch, to the objective of listening to the glories of God digesting and understanding these glories, thus enhancing our being materially, physically, and spiritually as we pray. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryesu Sarvada Sarvakaryesu Sarvada. Sumukasya kadantasya Kapilo Gajakarnaka Lambodaraksha Bhikto Vignasho Vinayaka Vignasho Vinayaka Dhumraketu Ganadasho Bhajandro Dvadishaitani Namani Yapateshu Yapateshu Vidyarambe Vivaricha Vishe Nikave Pratha Sangrame Sankate Chaiva Vignasya Ekadantaya Vidmaye Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat Tanno Danti Prachodayat Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Ganapati Devata Ki Jai. Let me take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you to this, the third night of our Navratri Karigram. And we commence activities on April 1st. And tonight, we will continue to read from the scriptures called the Ramayana or Ramcharitmanas. And also, today is a very special day in the Ram Mandir Parivar, that we celebrate the life of someone who's not with us anymore, but who would have been 72 years today. All of you might have known him as Rahim as husband, but also as Indra Maharaj. In glorifying the divine during these nights, we contemplate the divine in the form of the Devis, Durga, Lakshmi or Saraswati Mata. In contemplating the divine in these forms, we are endeavoring to bring ourselves closer to a relationship with the divine. We all have a relationship with God. It is a relationship that we have no choice. We are children, हम सब भगवान को संतान हैं. We are children of that Lord, but some of us either have become orphans on our own choice, or have declared that we do not want that kind of parentage, or do not recognize that kind of parentage. And then there are some of us who cannot exist without recognizing that kind of parentage. And that parentage is God, the Supreme Father, Mother, Tumeva Mata, Chapita Tumeva, Tumeva Bandhu Chasaka Tumeva, Tumeva Vidya Dravinam Tumeva, Tumeva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. That we see God as everything. So in our activities tonight, the previous night, and the ensuing nights, we are endeavoring to renew that relationship with God. Now, some of us already have a very good relationship. Some of us have not so good relationship. Some of us may have no relationship. If I was to ask you tonight, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you were to measure your relationship with God, where would you rate yourself? Don't say it out. Just think about your life. And from a 0 to 1, by the way, you can go to minus also, okay? Right? So where would you rate yourself? Then on the other hand, if I was to have a discussion, Bhagavan, rate all of us in your book, relationship we have, what ratings do you think he will give us? You know, we all tend to rate ourselves, and then there is a rating, and then there is a rating that is there. So tonight, we need to look at elevating our ratings. If we are at 9, then we want to be 10. If we are 8, we want to be 9. If we're at 0, we want to become 1. We want to become better. So the objective of these austerities of Navratri is to help us to elevate our relationship to God. Now someone said, Panditji, how can I tell you about my relationship with God? I love God. I pray to God all the time, but I never get what I want. So does this God love me? If God gave us everything we wanted, do you know what this world would be like? If God gave us everything that we wanted when we asked for it instantly, do you know what the world would be like? How many of us will be in regretful state? Oh my God, I didn't really want that. You gave it to me. But you know, there are many analogies of where people are given the freedom to get exactly what they wish for instantly. And we saw the pains and misery that one can acquire from that. So even when we are asking God for something, there must be a thought process. And sometimes you must realize that God says no. You see, we think God has to say yes to everything we want. And we don't understand when He's saying no. It's like children always believe that when they ask their parents for something, they must always hear yes. And if the parents don't say yes, Mom, you don't like me. Mom, you're not listening to me. Mom, didn't hear what I want. Mom, you don't understand me. That's what we tell God. Because we didn't get the answer we wanted. So tonight, we're not seeking answers. We're building relationships. Let me reiterate that. We're not seeking answers. We're building relationships. When a husband and wife are seeking answers from each other, guess what? They're having a very confrontational relationship. But they're seeking to build relationships, then there's no confrontation. Because all the barriers are broken down, building a relationship. But if you're seeking answers, when you give me this answer, then I'll tell you how I feel. Then there's no relationship. So we're not seeking answers from God, that why we didn't get or why we did get. We're seeking, how do we build a better relationship with you, O Lord, that we have the comfort of knowing that not only are you there with us spiritually, but you're here with me, here, there, and everywhere, as it is determined that you're omnipotent and omnipresent under all conditions. Sitapati Ramachandra Bhagavan ki. Thus, when we pray to the Divine Mother, under these circumstances, we are seeking, amongst other things, strength of mind and unquestionable hope. Hope. What does this word hope mean? To have hope. You know, when all else fails, have hope. Always believe that it doesn't matter what is happening in the world, that there's a ray of sunshine coming your way. And that is hope. And you know, we may question hope and say, you know, should I? Well, let's look at some of the things that, although it's so miserable in the world, Ukraine is having a war, there's a war in Yemen, there are people in Afghanistan who are not allowed to go to school, there's all kinds of miseries even in our homes, right? But let's ask, did the sun stop shining? Did the rain stop falling? Did the seasons stop changing? Did the grass not get greener? Does the season not change? Things continue to happen regardless of all of those things in our lives. Thus, hope is the one thing we must never give up. And to nurture hope, we must have man ka shakti, the strength of the mind. The strength of the mind to say, although all of these things are happening, I believe. And we pray to the Divine Mother for that man ka shakti. सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके
शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते।
ॐ गिरिजाये विद्महे शिवप्रियाय धीमहि
तन्नो दुर्गा
प्रचोदयात्। तन्नो दुर्गा प्रचोदयात्। शक्ति माता की जय। Before proceeding from reading, I'd like to invite everyone to listen to one bhajan offered by, I think it's Shivana or Nirvana. And while this bhajan is being done, I asked the Mandili, Ramayana Mandali, to get yourself organized. I believe all of you have received the message as we were reading from. Is that a yes?
Yeah.
Good, thank you. For the benefit of those who have joined us tonight, first of all, we welcome you. And to let you know that we have established what we call a Ramayana Mandali, a group that chants Ramayana. And it is a tradition that one person will read and everyone will listen. But we thought it would be very, very good if we can have everyone reading and all of us participating. So tonight, if I can take a quick glance, I think we have about 15 people reading, or at least more than that actually, about 20. We are looking for 50 who would like to read. So if you'd like to read Ramcharitmanas, you can join us anytime over the next few nights. Bring your book with you and you'll sit and chant along with us. Now, as you will note carefully, that these are not all old people here chanting. As a matter of fact, there's no old person chanting at all. They're all young people, but some of them are very, very young. And most of them, the young ones, are born in Canada. And some of them have no knowledge of Hindi, but have learned the Hindi alphabet so they can read in Hindi. So this is quite an achievement for all of these people. So I want you to give them a wonderful round of applause for the wonderful effort they make. Now.
जय जय माँ जय माँ जय जय माँ
Let me try to organize our Mandir members. Can all of you who have Ramayana sitting at the back come and sit over here, please? Rise quickly and sit together. That was said quickly. Okay, slowly then. Come, Nathan. Jaden, you okay? Good. Good. so I can see you all good, comfortably, and know who's not reading and who's not. Who is? Just place that in the middle. Manisha, place that microphone in the middle of all of you. Middle there. Put your hands in there. Ivana, you're good there, right? You seeing? Okay. Are we good? Our katha tonight is a continuation of our discussions over the past few nights. We embark on this journey, as I said earlier, to build relationship or to reassure or reaffirm our relationship with God. According to our scriptures, in particular this book that we call Ramcharitmanas, there's a particular section that's called Naudha Bhakti, meaning the 9 forms of relating to God. We call them Bhakti, meaning devotion. But basically it means the 9 steps or 9 phases of ultimately creating a relationship with God. Like any achievement that we want to achieve, there is a process. It starts off with the preliminaries and then goes into the intermediate and so on and so on. There's phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and then ultimately the ultimate phase. In this concept of relationship with God, we start out with having a relationship with God. So then if we already have a relationship with God, the question will be, why are we trying to build one? Well, we have a relationship with God that some of us would say, I didn't have a choice. God is with me, I didn't have a choice. Can I tell him to go away? No. It's like some children say to parents, you're my parents, I didn't have a choice, what can I do? I'm stuck with you. Parents can tell the children the same thing too. But although they are there with each other, the relationship may not be there. Thus, it is not that we don't have a relationship, it is that we are going to nurture that relationship and identify how we can make it better relationship. So last 2 nights we talked about 2 major steps in the relationship building with God and with humanity. First, we must sit with those who can tell us and let us understand what is required to build relationships, especially with God. And the term satsang is used. Sat meaning the truth, sang those who speak the truth. Wherever the truth is being expounded upon, that is a good gathering whereby you can learn how to build a relationship with God. But then one would ask, what are these truths you're talking about? Number 1, there is one God. Universal truth. Number 2, hum sab Bhagwan ko santan hai. We're all children of one God. Number 3, we are here for a purpose. Number 4, we have the ability to achieve the purpose. And number 5, we're not on a journey to God, we're on a journey with God. We're not on a journey to God, we're on a journey with God. And the journey never ends because the destination is not to catch up with God, the destination is being with God. And if you're with God all the time, then the journey with the relationship never ends. So someone said, Panditji, when I die, does the relationship end? No. It continues based on our karma. The Lord is there with us continuously. As such, tonight, we want to continue on that dialogue. And the first, we talked about the relationship that we call satsang. And then last night, we talked about when you go to these places where you can learn about God, you have to have the right state of mind. You have to have a receptive state of mind, an open state of mind, a mind that is willing to adapt, understand and appreciate. And I always make this reference that I open my eyes and I see all of you here. Touch yourself. You're here. Ask yourself a question. Your body is here. Where is your mind? Tan yahan hai, man kahan hai? So that focused attention is what I'm talking about. Tan or man arpan, when the body and mind is at the place where we go to learn, then we will learn. Thus, we talked about the importance of going to the right gathering, having the right frame of mind. Tonight, we are talking about the third step. Is that when we go to learn and we have the right frame of mind, then we need guidance. We need someone who will work with us to learn. Lack of a better word, we need a teacher. That word in Hinduism means, translated to guru. दो शब्द गु रू, ये शब्द है गु darkness, ru light. That individual who can take us from a state of not knowing to knowing, from darkness to light, from ignorance to enlightenment. We are about to discuss that personality in our lives. And by the way, we all have one. We have two. Many of us, many. Our first gurus, our first teachers are our parents. And with all due respect to the fathers, mothers are the first teachers, because they have a closer contact to the child. And fathers, of course, have the privilege and the honor to teach children also. But our tradition and all traditions of humanity, mother is the first teacher. Mata Pita ka Pratham Guru. And the parents teach us everything that we know as children, and they continue to teach us. But tonight we want to talk about that guru beyond the parent. The guru who someone can tell things that they will not tell their parents. The guru who someone can relate to that they cannot relate with their parents. And the reasons are because parents are emotionally attached. Gurus are not emotionally attached, or not supposed to be emotionally attached. As such, we want to understand tonight that guru. You and I will identify who or whom those people are, but we need to understand the value of those people in our lives. So we go back to this first page of the Ramcharitmanas, that is on page 2, where Sant Goswami Tulsidas makes a statement about Bando Guru Pad Kan, Bando Guru Pad Kan, Kripa Sindhu Rupa Hari, Maha Mohatam Das Vachan Ravi Karani Kar, Siyavar Ramchandra Ki Jai, Umapati Mahadev Ki Jai, Pavan Sudha Hanuman Ki Jai, Siyavar Ramchandra Ki Jai Sharanam. Bando Guru Padakan, Kripa Sindhu Nara Rupari, Nara Rupari, Nara man, Roop form, Hari God. Kripa Sindhu, the most compassionate. Here is a description of that persona, that personality we call Guru. Nar Roop Hari, God representative in human race. God's representative in humanity. Kripa Sindhu, Nara Roop Hari, who is Kripa Sindhu, who has compassion beyond the ordinary. Now, all parents have compassion beyond the ordinary. And they are Nar Rupari to their children. To their children, parents are God. As such, this statement is relevant to every parent. But as I said, we are not going to talk about the parent guru. We are talking about the guru beyond the parent. And Sant Goswami Tulsidas tells us that we must recognize that these are the qualities of that deity, that personality, that individual, whether it be man or woman, that we call Guru. And he tells us in the first Chopai, in the first writing of declaration that he writes about the glories of God, Bando Guru Pad Padma Paraga, bolo Bando Guru Pad Padma Paraga, Surji Suvas Saras Anuraga, Amya Muramaya Churan Amya Murimaya Churan Charu, Samaya says in romantic poetry that I love you so much I will walk or love the dust that you walk upon. Is that how it goes? Somehow like that? I love the dust that you walk upon. My love for you is such that the dust that you walk upon is so touching to me. In romantic terminologies. But in terminology of spiritual relationship, when we look to the Guru, our reverence must be of such nature that we will give reverence to the dust that they walk upon. Children also may not know it, but they do give reverence to their parents. When they are babies, they revere to their parents' footprints. They follow them, the dust they walk upon, they play with it. Anything that their parents touch, they want to touch. But of course, as they grow older, they become wiser. And they lose that bliss of innocence. Thus, Bandhu Guru Padakan Kripa Sindhu Nararupari. Here, Sant Goswami Tulsidas describes this Guru as the most compassionate and understanding God's representative. And the first line, he says, we must bow. We must constantly pay reverence, not to the person, but the dust that they walk upon. Now he's trying to emphasize the depth of the relationship, the depth of the love, the depth of the divine love. Highest respect is the highest love. You can't disrespect someone and say you love them. Because respect is the foundation of love. So the highest respect is the highest love. When we have the highest respect for God, we bow humbly at His feet. That is our highest love for God. As such, this respect must be of such a nature that we may cherish the dust that they walk upon. Now let's take it to the next dimension. That now we understand how we must relate. Every child, where is it written that this is how you must relate to your mother and father? Where does the lesson start? When they go to school, the teacher says, this is how you must relate to your mother and father? No, they learn it by seeing. When they're a child, they look at other children that are may have grown up, or they grew up in a family. But what happens if a child grows up in a family where it is only the child and the parent and no other interaction? Where did the child learn that from? The parents say, by the way, you must revere the dust that I walk upon. How do they do that? When the child is at the age of 2, 3, 4, how does that occur? Think carefully. All of us who are parents have had this experience. Our children learn from us because we are constantly actors on stage. And they are watching us with such dedication. Every movement, every whistle we make, every turn we take, they are registering, yes. And they're learning from that. They're learning humility. They're learning simplicity. They're learning how not to be stupid. They're learning everything. And they're learning it from the greatest actors in their life, their parents. And as such, we, as children, are definitely a byproduct of our parents. To some degree, we are a total product. But our early learnings is definitely influenced by what we see and hear our parents engage in. Siyapati Ramachandra Bhagavan ki. The word here is the parents. Remember your gurus. And you must be Kripa Sindhu Nara Rupa Hari. Now all of my children will go home and tell their parents, remember what Pandit said, you have to forgive me, You have to be understanding and compassionate. You're quite right. But there is another two sides to the story. Siddhapati Ramachandra Bhagavan ki. So now let's go to the other side of the story on page 142. We are at the stage of the Ramcharitmanas where we join Raja Darsharatha and his family. Raja Darsharatha has 4 sons, Ram, Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrughan. This is what he wanted all of his life. He wanted children and God blessed him with 4 sons. He's got plans. One of them will become the regent. He will retire. He will go off to the Bahamas. And he and his wife will just take it easy. And everything is set. What can change it? And his children are only about the age of 13 or 14. They're teenagers. What can you worry about? But events happen in our lives that we never plan on. And it doesn't matter how many plans we have for the Bahamas. COVID came and we canceled it all. Some people had to cancel their marriage plans. Some people had to cancel all kinds of plans. But nature seems to be the most powerful force that doesn't matter who we have to succumb to the way of nature. But sometimes you have to succumb to karma. Here, as we are about to explore what happened in this happy family life, we will see, I hope, the influence of the Guru, the influence of that guiding light, and how that guiding light can make the tremendous difference in our most happy moments and in our most unhappy moments. Siyapati Ramachandra Bhagavan ki. We join Raja Dashrath as he is a regent of Ayodhya and he is seated on his throne and message comes to him. We start with the Doha on page 142. बहुविधि करत मनोरथ बोलो बहुविधि करत मनोरथ जात लागी नहीं बात ओ रामा जात लागी नहीं बात कई मचन सर उजल As we are told in the scriptures, at this time, when Raja Dashrath was enjoying the happiness of his 4 sons, in another part of his kingdom, there was a great rishi who was having challenges. We have happiness in our homes, but the challenges in someone else's home will suddenly impact our lives. Raja Dashrath is happy, but in the forest, there is a great rishi by the name of Vishwamitra. And he's having some problems. He's very devoted to God. He is Maha Rishi, Vishwamitra. But he's having a problem that while he's making his sacrifices, traditionally his Havan Yagna that he performs quite often, there are some impious beings who come and desecrate his offering by making offerings that are not conducive to what is to be offered. While he's offering ghee and all of the Havan Samagri, they are offering bones and other things, which desecrates his sacrifice. And they are doing this because they want to desecrate and make his life miserable. By the way, he has the power to eradicate them. But he looks at the situation and says, maybe this bad situation is an opportunity. He says, I could take care of this, but I hear that in Ayodhya, the Lord has taken birth. And maybe I could use this as an excuse to get his attention. Do we ever do that? Do we do things to get attention? And as such, he said, maybe I will let these fellas have their way. And anybody can tell me the name of these people who are desecrating Vishwamitra's sacrifice? Come. Marich and Subahu. These were good henchmen of the most famous Ravan. We will not talk about Ravan tonight, but they are devotees of Ravan, and they Marich and Subahu, and Marich became very famous later on in the Katha. Anybody knows what made him very famous? Talk to me, people. This is trivia time.
Golden deer.
He became the golden deer that was used to pull the attention away of Rama so that Ravan can steal Sita away. So Marich is there. And Subahu. So Vishwamin said, okay, let me take advantage of this not so good occasion to make life better for me. Maybe I'll get a better opportunity to visit the Lord and see him eye to eye. So Vishwamin sets himself on a journey, on a yatra. In his journey, he passed many places, but as tradition will have it, he came to a great river, and as tradition would have it, he knows he's about to go to the kingdom of Raja Dasrat, where he's about to meet the divine Lord. He thought he would shower and prepare himself, not only body but in mind, to receive God, or to be received by the divine Lord. So we are told, too low. Sri Ram Jai Ram,
Jai Jai Ram.
Sri Ram Jai Ram,
Jai Jai Ram.
Muniya Gaman Suna Jab Raja. Bolo.
Dunya kaman suna jab raja.
Milan gaye ule Vipra Samaja. Kari Dandavad Muni Janamani. Kari Dandavad Nij Asan Pe Tare Ani. Charan Pakhari Kin Ati Puja. Gosam Jasu Danya Nahi Puja. Vividha Bhati Bhojan Baba. Nivar Hirda Harasati Baba. Sri Ram Jai Ram, Sri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. जब राजा ने मुनि का आना सुना, तब वे ब्राह्मणों के समाज को साथ लेकर मिलने गए और दंडवत प्रणाम करके मुनि का सम्मान करते हुए उन्हें अपने आसन पर ला बिठाया. When the king of the realm, who's Raja Dasrat, heard of this great rishi approaching and coming to his abode, he immediately gathered his associates, his learned people to go with him. And who do you think his learned people were that we asked to go with him? Call the boys from the shop corner? He called Vashishta ji. And who is Vashisht? He's the Purohit, but what is his relationship to Raja Dasrat? He is the? Cha? I'm asking my students here, let's see if they can help me a little bit.
Guru.
He is the family guru. So there is Vishwamintra who is visiting, and the resident guru who is? Come on, speak to me, people.
Vashishtha.
Vashishta. So Raja Dasrat took his resident guru, Vashishta, to go to meet the incoming wise man. And how did he meet him? What was the process of greeting? प्रणाम करके मुनीम ने समान करते हुए अपना समान दंडवत प्रणाम. Dandavat pranam. He didn't just touch his feet or he says namaskar. Dandavat pranam. He laid himself flat on the ground in front of the rishi, touching his feet and not even looking up at him. What is the significance of this Dandavat pranam? It says become like a piece of wood, straight, laying down. But all of the limbs of the body are touching the ground. Recognizing that I am no greater than this earth that I lay upon. And I humble myself to this level to show you the reverence I give to you. It is the highest form of humility. But remember, the physical Dandavat Pranam is of no value if there is not a mental Dandavat Pranam. If we do this just to show that we are doing it, but we do not believe in the humility that we're doing it, then it has no value. As such, the message that is delivered to the guest is immediately one of the highest form of humility. And then he proceeded to complement his humility with hospitality. Charan pakari kinha ati puja, mosam aju dhanya nahi duja. He proceeded to pay obeisance to the spiritual persons come to this home by what is tradition. He paid obeisance to him by performing 100 crore upchar ka puja, making the 16 offerings, starting with welcoming and then washing the feet and so on, all of these things, and then proceeded to give him a seat to be comfortable. And when Hriday Harash Ati Pava, Vidita Bhati Bhojan Karwa, after he's received him, given him a seat, of course, some water, some food, and then conversation begins. Now, he didn't say, but why are you here? I'm a very busy man. Come make it short, I haven't got time. He paid obeisance to him, he received him, he made it the priority to receive this guest. By the way, the uninvited guest. Now, how many of us will receive an uninvited guest this way? Well, Panditji, I know you're a Pandit, but I'm very busy today. So can you call me back tomorrow? That doesn't happen to the people in this gathering. Of course, I've called some home sometimes, and I says, Sitaram, and they say he doesn't live here. Mom, because they don't know how to respond to that. Or Namaskar, Mom! And that is why the children do not answer the phones anymore at home. If it's not their cell phone, they don't answer the home phone. Does anybody have a home phone anymore? Does anybody answer it? If you don't call me on the cell, I'm not answering it, right? Okay. And the children particularly don't answer the home phone. But I assure you that has happened. I've called home and I've said, Namaskar, and it says, wrong number. Or they call for the mom or dad because they're not accustomed to being greeted or having a reception start with that way. But here, Raja Dashrath is showing the protocols. By the way, he's a king, right? Now, everyone is his subject. They're all subject to his realm. But yet he steps out of his realm, leaves his throne, leaves the area of his domain, and goes to the doorway to meet this guest who's come from far away and to bow to him in such humility. What is the message, folks? Our house is our kingdom, but our kingdom is of no value when we do not live and practice humility within that kingdom. It is merely a structure, but it becomes a place of joy when the realm is filled with humility. And that humility is the foundation. Bando Guru Padakanj, bowing to the feet of the Guru, start out with humility and then rise from there. Siyapati Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai. Now the question I'm sure in some of our minds, Panditji, there are so many gurus. You could go on YouTube and you'll find 100,000 gurus. Well, which one are you talking about? I mean, we have Guru A, Guru B, Guru C. Which one are you talking about? How many teachers are there in the world, by the way? How many schools are there in India? Does anybody know? Someone did the statistics of actual schools. And then you take that each school had 10 teachers. Just think how many teachers will be one. So does that mean a child has to know a particular name of a teacher before he starts to go to school? Or he just wants to go to school and learn? So does it matter what's the name of the guru? Or does it matter what do we want to learn? So, well, we have to, that guru, but is the learning that is the most important. And when we have the right attitude about learning, all the gurus are of value. When we have the wrong attitude about learning, no teacher is a good teacher. You ever notice when the children can't, Mom, I don't know, my prof is terrible, he doesn't like me. This child is telling the parent, this teacher doesn't like them, that's why they're not doing good. Maybe that happens sometimes. But we, the student, blame the teacher or blame the subject, but never said, maybe if I change my attitude about learning, the teacher will be good and the subject will be good. As such, remember, do not try to label the gurus. Try to look at our attitude about learning from the guru. Siyapati Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai. So Raja Dasrath is, in my mind, showing us how we should relate to these people that we call or we respect as our teachers. Now a dialogue ensues. And in this dialogue, here Vishwamitra is about to explain the purpose of his coming. Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Raghupati
Raghav Raja Ram.
Om Puni Charani Mile Sudhachari Ram
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Raghupati
Raghav Raja Ram.
Om Vaye Magan De Kata Sukh Sobha Janu Chakur Purana Sachilo
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram Pati Pavan Sita Ram. When someone comes to our home, uninvited or invited, let us say invited, that means we are aware of their coming, we're prepared for them, whether we prepared a meal for them or whatever, but there is always a preparation when we know someone is coming to our home. That is when parents tell the children, please tidy up, we're having guests. And we fix up the room and everything is spick and span and there are guests to receive, and then we exchange our cordialities and they're seated. The parents have just met the guests who have come. Where are the children in most times in today's modern world when the parents are entertaining? When the parents are receiving guests? Let me get my cell phone so I can practice this, please. They're all in their rooms, right? And then mom says, children, your uncle has come. Yeah, bye. Please correct me when I'm wrong, okay? But they're so engaged that their cell phones, sometimes they're at the table with the guests who have come and they're still on there. And actually they're sitting beside each other and texting each other. But what does Radha Dasrath do? When Vishwamitra comes to his home, he goes and he presents to them his most prized possessions. He brought the kingdom of jewelry and gave it to the king, to the rishi. No, he brought his children and presented them to his guests. My prized possessions. He didn't have to drag them along, by the way. He didn't have to twist their arms. He brought them and they came obediently and bowed and took the blessings of the rishi. And of course, there is more to this katha than the the idea of how we relate to Guru is that we are seeing that Vishwamin is realizing his objective. He wanted to have a view of the Lord in person, and he came with ulterior motives to do this. So some of us may come with ulterior motives to Mandir also. And as such, he came with ulterior motives, saying he's looking for help, but what he came for was really to look at the Lord. And he got his fruit right away. He looked, and Sant Goswami Tulsidas says that he was totally awed by the beauty of young Rama and Lakshman, and he couldn't take his eyes off of them. But at the same time, Raja Dasrat is happy to see him, so he is enjoying the fruits of his action. Raja Dasrat is enjoying the fruits of his action, meaning he is seeing goodness come to his life because of his good karma. A great sage has come to his house uninvited. His children gets the blessings of the sage. Everybody is getting something. It's a win-win situation. Heard that term before? Win-win. Everybody gets equal. So now, Raja Dasrat is saying in his mind, and he's contemplating, and he asked this question. Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Bolo.
Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram.
Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Sri Ram Jai Ram तब मन हरे शिव बचन करा बोलो
तब मन हरे शिव शंकरा।
यस कृपान काऊ
यस कृपा
के ही कारण आगम तुम्हारा
तेरी कारण आगमन तुम्हारा।
कहूँ सो करत लाखो बारा
कहूँ सो करत
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम बोलो
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय राम
जय जय राम।
बोलो
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
तब राजा ने मन में हर्षित होकर ये वचन कहे. The king is very pleased that his guest has come and he's received his children and has blessed them. Now he proceeds to inquire. हे मुनि, आप ना ऐसी कृपा तो कभी नहीं की. आज किस कारण आपका शुभागमन हुआ? कहिए. He says, tell me. First of all, it's a blessing that you come to my home. But tell me, what has brought you here? I am blessed that you have come to my home uninvited. I, being your regent, should come to you if you're in need. But you've come to me. Please, tell me, what has brought you to my home? And once you've told me what you've come for, you can be assured I will have no hesitation to grant all of your wishes. Be wary of what you say. Be wary of the statements you make. Because if you are like Raja Dashrath, prana jai par vachan na jai. Your life could go, but your words will always stand. And Raja Dashrath is a man of that philosophy and that kind of reverence, that he makes a statement and he will live up to it. So when we make statements to our parents, to our friends and associates, we must also be conscious of the fact that we have to live up to it. If we say that we will, then we must. Whatever the consequences are, and if it's something that we feel we need to apologize and withdraw from, then do it with respect and reverence. Because sometimes we say things that we shouldn't say. Sometimes we make statements we shouldn't make, and sometimes they're misinterpreted. Now Raja Dashrath makes a statement, And let's see if he'll be able to hold himself to that statement. Having asked the question, the great Rishi responds to Raja Dasrath. Sri Ram Jai Ram,
Jai Jai Rama,
Sri Ram Jai Ram,
Jai Jai Rama,
bolo.
Sri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Sri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama,
Sri Ram
Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama,
Asura Samuha Satva Tehi Hoji, Jatan Ay Tirgoi, Anuj Samedehu Raghunatha, Anuj Samedehu Raghunatha, Nisrachar Vad mein Nata, Nisrachar mein Nata, Sri Ram Jai Ram, Sri Ram Jai Ram, bolo. Sri Ram
Sri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Ram,
Sri Ram I want to take a moment to pause and for us to just appreciate all of these voices chanted together. Let's give them a big hand, please. It reminds me of the poet who says that if you go to a forest and if only one bird was singing, you may hear some noise. But if all the birds were whistling, what would you hear? Music. And these are all the birds singing, not the starbird. You know, sometimes we go to a concert where the starbird is singing and everybody, but when all the voices are singing, that is devotional singing. And such, every voice complements the others. So we're very proud of all of them and all of you for chanting in. And when you are chanting, I'm sure when you hear all of the voices chanting together, you must admit, it gives you a wonderful feeling. Siyapati Ramachandra Bhagavan ki Jai. The Rishi explains in very simple terms, King, I have a problem. Where I live, I do my yajnas every day, and these two Rakshas are desecrating my yajna, and I need protection. You are my king. I'm demanding of you that you give me your two sons to go with me so they can protect my yajna. That's a big ask. With no formalities, just like that. As such, Raja Dasrath made a statement that just ask and I will do. And the Rishi wasn't being unfair. He said, you said ask. I'm asking. You didn't say, by the way, don't ask for this or don't ask for that or watch what you ask for. You said, ask. And he said, let's make it simple. Here's what I need. Simple communication. Clear, untainted, note, and very transparent. Above board. As such, the king is stunned. He took his breath away. He missed a few heartbeats. What? Say that again? But he's looking. And in the meantime, in the background, who did Raja Dasrath bring along with him to meet this saint? He brought Vasishtha ji, his spiritual preceptor, his guidance counselor. Now, as far as the scripture says, he kind of turned and looked at his guidance counselor and said, what are you doing here? Like, help me out a little bit. Can you tell me what to do? The guidance counselor, which is the guru, is sitting very, very calmly and nodding his head. Chalo. You know what to do. Now, sometimes, with the best of knowledge we have, the best of skills we have, we are stunned. And we do need to have someone to lean upon. Isn't there a game show where you said you can call out for help? What is it called? Who wants to be a millionaire? And you dial out? A lifeline, right? So, in everyone's life, there's got to be a lifeline that you throw the line out and they respond. Now, Raja Dashrath reached out to the lifeline that says, I think you can handle this. I have confidence in you. So let's see what happens next. Doha. हे राजन प्रसन्न मन में इनको दो. He says, after asking for this, he says, please, you must do this with a happy heart. He asked for something that was like a blow in the heart, and then he said, by the way, I want you to do this with a happy state of mind. Is this psychology? Is this putting the king at ease? The king, his emotions will naturally say, you must be crazy. And you want me to be happy to do what you're asking me to do? That's a natural human response. But Vashist is sitting in the background and saying, this is my student. This Raja Dashrath, I have trained him. I know he will respond better. So, having laid the foundation for his demands, and he says, do not let infatuation or ignorance stand in your way. Do not let infatuation or ignorance stand in your way. Vishwamitra is an intellectual. And he has an intellectual listening to him. And he is seeking from a king who is not, quote unquote, of that same caliber as Vishwamitra or Vashisht. He is looked upon as the ordinary man. And the intellectual is saying to the ordinary man, by the way, I want you to think about this carefully. Do not let your emotions or your dislikes, anger, in any way taint your next words or your actions. He's saying, be calm, be collective, be thoughtful, then response. It's called LTDR. What does that mean again? Listen, think, decide, then respond. So, Vishwamitra has cautioned Raja Dashrath to use LTDR before you respond. Because I know this is an emotional situation. How many times in our lives we wish someone had sat there and said LTDR before we have responded? Because after we have responded, it's too late. The action is done and we can't redraw what we have said. We may apologize, but we can't withdraw because the injury has been sustained. Siyapati Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai. The king, having heard this, what is considered this most unwelcoming request, his heart starts to beat faster. I'm going to just relate the katha because time is pressing. His heart starts to beat faster and he looks at Vishwamitra and he says, oh, their divine soul. I've been blessed with these 4 children in my later years in life. The Katha tells us of Raja Dasrat was very ageable. He did not have any children, and then he was blessed with 4 children. And he's saying, you're asking for something without due reflection. You're not thinking about what you're asking me to give up. You're not thinking about what you're asking me to give up. Today, when we ask the young people to come to read Ramayana, their parents tell me they have to go and play hockey. And they have to go to chess games and so on. And I'm asking them to come and read Ramayana. So I'm not thinking of due consideration what I'm asking them for. I'm sure I'll be getting some reproaches on this statement today or afterwards. But Raja Dasrat is asking for something and he's saying you're not thinking carefully. But sometimes when we make requests of the children, the parents are not hearing those lines that Vishwamin sent to Raja Dasrat. Do not let your infatuation or your ignorance or those things taint your response. As such, what is important in life? Knowledge, education, association, sports, all are important. But which one will stand as taller at any time? Is it the sports? Is it the chess game? Or is it the knowledge? The parents need to answer that question. And as such as they proceed in life, they will also, by the way, I'm sure some of these parents are going to go away, Panditji is picking on me tonight. If I am, then feel picked. Right? As such, in life, we have this entire concept of a guru, and we misuse, abuse, or misunderstand the value of the guru in our lives. And only think that the guru is there only when we're in big trouble, call guru. Or when someone dies, call guru. Or when someone is ill, call guru. Other times, you don't need the guru. And as such, that is the way we treat our parents also. Because that is the way the parents are telling the children to treat their guru. And when they get the same treatment from their children, they're saying, oh, what did I do wrong? Because we need to institute or install in our children's mind that guru factor has more than a casual influence on our lives, if you really wanted to make a difference. Thus, in this third step of the process of building a relationship with God, we need to give great respect and reverence to those who teach our children. We need to consider them an integral part of the family and understand that if they are not an integral part, then we must disconnect from them. Once we follow the process, and that way is a preliminary process, the next steps beyond that becomes easier. But this is the stage whereby first to make a commitment that I want to learn, secondly to have the mind focus, third to have a good guidance factor, and to commit and have the belief in that guidance factor. If these foundations are not laid, the others are irrelevant. They have no value. And it doesn't matter how much academic standings we may have, it still has no value, because it's not academics that makes us good human beings. It is our value systems that makes us good human beings. And our value systems is not how much we know how to read and write and how many degrees we have. It is the moral value systems that our lives are built upon. And that is nurtured by the first parents, and then secondly, all the other elders in the family, and those we choose to be our guru. Siyapati Ramachandra Bhagavan ki Jai. Satya Sanatan Dharma ki Jai. Sant Goswami Tulsidas tells us that Raja Dasrat makes a Vishwamin makes it request. Raja Dasrat is hurt. He feels pain, but he knows he has made a statement that he cannot retract from. And he did turn to his guru, and we are told his guru said to him, gave him the look and the whisper in the ears that you must live up to your words. And in living up to your words, you're holding the highest standards of society, moral standards, to live up to your commitment that you made. Raja Dasrat, we are told, allowed his 2 sons to go with Vishwamitra, and then they went into the forest with Vishwamitra and destroyed and protected the sacrifice by destroying Subhahu and sending Marich back to Ravan with a message that there will be a mating at another date. Siyapati Ramachandra Bhagavan ki Jai. Our katha tonight was intended to add to the two stages of building a relationship with the divine. And it's not the murti we have in our home I'm talking about, it's the murti we have in our minds. By the way, the murti in our home only solidifies the murti in our mind. But if we do not have a murti in our mind, the one in the home makes no difference. The one in the home is a physical reminder of the one that is in our minds. And the closer we can get to the one in our mind is when we have the intent to learn, when we have the focused attention and we seek the guidance and accept the guidance given to us. More and more, that murti on the wall becomes synonymous and as parcel of the one in the mind, that if we leave the house and we think of God, the murti that we left home is the one that we are taking with us. For Hirdaya mein, it is there, and that is why it's called Mandir. Mandir is where? Mandir mein rehte ho Bhagavan. Many of us believe that God only resides in the mandir. Manoj will sing one verse of this bhajan for me.
मंदिर में रहते हो भगवान, मंदिर में रहते हो भगवान, कभी बाहर भी आया जाया करो, कभी बाहर भी आया जाया करो। मैं रोज तेरे दर आता हूँ, मैं रोज तेरे दर आता हूँ, कभी तुम भी मेरे घर आया करो। मंदिर में रहते हो भगवान, मंदिर में रहते हो भगवान।
The poet is saying, God, you in the mandir, maybe you should step outside once in a while into people's home and outside, because people don't know about you. Is that what has to happen? God has to step out of the mandir? You mean we don't have God in our homes? We only find Him when we come to the mandir? The poet is presenting an analogy of basically saying, wake up, mankind. Don't think that you have to come to mandir and bring God home. You have to come to mandir with God with you, so He will also accompany you home again. By the way, don't leave your God here. Take Him home, because you brought Him with you. And as such, He is in every home at all times. So then one will ask the question, well, why do we have to come to mandir, Panditji? Are you coming to find God? Are you going to school to find knowledge? You mean you didn't have some before you got there? You don't do some home studies? But by going to school, you're corroborating the knowledge that you learned at home, constantly going and coming, you're learning and sharing, and one place solidifies it, the other place you practice it. You come to Mandir to solidify the relationship, and you go home to practice the relationship with God. You never stop being with God. But if you come to Mandir, we don't leave Mandir and practice what we learned, then we do have to beg God to leave the Mandir and come with us and go to our home. As such, take Bhagavan with you tonight because you brought Him with you. Take Him back to your homes and start looking at the relationship you're having with Him. And remember, we started out by rating ourselves to the relationship with God. On a scale of 1 to 10, you know your rating. You know how you can improve your rating also. So let us be conscious of the fact that there is a relationship with God, and we have the power to nurture that relationship and bring it to the highest status that it can be. Siyapati Ramachandra Bhagavan ki Jai. Sach Sanatana Dharma ki Jai. I have so many talented singers and musicians here tonight, but I'm going to ask my twin boys to do one bhajan for us. Dhruv and Rudra. Well, we have twin girls also, so the boys get the big picture tonight. You want to come up here? He's okay there, he says.
Yeah. This mic's pretty loud.
What can I play for you? Scale. D.
Ram Krishna Hare Mukunda Murari. 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 Panduranga Panduranga Ram Krishna Hare. 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 Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Jai Rama. 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. Vitthal Vitthal Panduranga Ram Krishna Hare. 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 Ram Krishna Hare Mukunda Murari. Ram Krishna Hare Mukunda Murari. Panduranga Panduranga Ram Krishna Hare. Panduranga Panduranga Ram Krishna Hare. Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam. Radha Madhav Radhe Shyam Radha Madhav Radhe Shyam. Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Ram. Sita Vallabh Sita Ram Sita Vallabh Sita Ram. Radha Mukund Radhe Shyam Radha Mukund Radhe Shyam. Radha Govind Radhe Shyam Radha Govind Radhe Shyam. Radha Mukund Radhe Shyam Radha Mukund Radhe Shyam. Radha Govind Radhe Shyam Radha Govind Radhe Shyam. Radha 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 Radha. Radhe Govinda Vrindavan Govinda Krishna Mukunda He Nanda Nandana Krishna Hare Mukunda Murari
Ram Krishna Hare Mukunda Murari
Panduranga Panduranga Ram Krishna Hare
Panduranga Panduranga Ram Krishna Hare
Panduranga Panduranga Ram Krishna Hare
Panduranga
Panduranga Ram Krishna Hare.
Let's give these boys a round of applause, please. When they are chanting, I'm sure those of us who are chanting will feel that inner vibration in our body as we echo the words Rama Krishna Hare, and with their beautiful voices, so powerful, it resonates within you. All of our singers, when they chant, also stimulate this type of emotion. So chanting is very, very important in our lives. And whether you chant at home, many of us do not know that we chant. We don't know that we chant, but we do chant. Like you find yourself humming sometime, and you don't know what you're humming. Or you don't find yourself whistling anymore, do you? Nobody does that anymore. But that's another way of stabilizing the mind. And then you're finding yourself repeating a song, the words of a song, while you're at your computer. But I don't know if that happens anymore. Do people sing while they're working? You do? You boys do? Well, they do. And as such, this chanting is one way of bringing all the energies together. While you're doing your work, you could be playing ping pong and chanting. You could be playing chess and chanting. You could be in tic-tac-toe. Is that? No, you don't play that anymore. What is that? There are some social media called
TikTok.
TikTok.
That's a video.
It's a video. You could be doing that and chanting too. But what I'm saying, remember, chanting has a place. And find some simple thing to chant and chant every day. And I'm sure that vibration that you have felt while these two words are chanting can be achieved even in our own way. Siyapati Ramachandra Bhagavan ki
Jai.
Let me take this opportunity to thank all of you for being here tonight. And special thanks go to Rahima and her family for sponsoring tonight. And this is an occasion, it's in celebration of the birth anniversary of Inder Maharaj, who passed away. He would have been 72 years. Inder was a great contributor to this mandir and was part of the initial structure and the brain thought process and the hard work. And Rahima continues, and her family continues to live the legacy. We want to wish her the best of the years to come, and the children and the family, that they will live the legacy of their father. And we thank all of the Yajman tonight for being part of the Katha, and all of my Kirtan Mandali Ramayana group. I'm so proud of all of you. I know I haven't seen some of you for quite a while, but it's good to see you all back again. And there will always be one thing to the other. It's either you're going to Mauritius, or you're going to Trinidad, or you're just going around the corner, you're going somewhere else. But we want to know you're coming to Mandir also. You're not going, you're on your way to Mandir. And it's good to see all of you ladies in green. Is it today Green Day? Oh, give them a big round of applause. Green Day today. Is it St. Patrick's Day? No, but so they're all coordinated. We want to remind you that this Katha and this Satsang and these celebrations continue until April 10th, which is Naumi. On that day is when we celebrate Ram Janam. It's called Ram Naumi. We contemplate the Divine Lord, read His Katha, prepare our minds to receive the Lord on the Naumi. The Naumi is on Sunday, and we'll be celebrating Ram Janam with a special program from 10. Normally we have a program from 10, but it'll be a revised program just for the occasion from 10, concluding between 1 and 1:30, where we'll have Ram Janam Puja. We'll be welcoming the Lord in 4 babies. We're looking for a twin, right? We need a twin, and we need twin boys if we can. And we need 2 more babies, and we need 3 mothers. We have 2 babies and 2 mothers. Good. We need another mother and 2 babies. Right. So, if you know of anyone who have 2 babies within the age of 1 year, it'll be ideal to do the puja and the celebrations to welcome the babies of Ram Janam. And we also remind you that after Ram Navami, the following week is Hanuman Jayanti. The servant of the Lord arrives 1 week after he arrives. Okay? And to help him to go through his Leela, and Hanumanji takes presence. And on that day, we'll be having a 6-hour program to celebrate Hanuman Jayanti, which include chanting from the Ramcharitmanas, Sundarakand, and also chanting Hanuman Chalisa and Bhajan Kirtanam. I didn't miss something. On Sunday, there is a double program. Sunday on April 10th, we have our 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Janam Puja and Katha. And then in the evening, 2 hours of Ram Bhajan. Chanting Kirtanam and Bhajan dedicated to Ram Chandra Bhagavan. We invite everyone to join us. And by the way, on all of these occasions, a beautiful meal is prepared with loving hands. And on Sunday, there will be 2 meals. And today, there's a sumptuous meal prepared. I believe Rahima herself was cooking today. And Tara, you helped a little bit? A little bit. So, please do enjoy the bhojan. And it's a takeaway. It's a takeaway. We have not opened up the banquet hall to open dining. We are hoping to do that soon, but we are watching the numbers. Does anybody know what the numbers were today? You know what numbers I'm talking about? Not the lottery numbers. The COVID numbers. What were they yesterday? Jay? No. Dinesh? Danish? Arvinda? That means the numbers are not bad. Because if nobody's knowing about it, that means it must be good numbers. If it was bad, everybody would have heard about it. Okay? Anyone brought prasad that was not offered? If you brought prasad to offer, please come forward with Tiwari ji as we will chant. Hamaru dhan Rama, Sri Rama, Sri Rama. In a few minutes, we'll be asking everyone to stand for Aarti. Kitna tali banakar? 10. There's 10 talis prepared for Aarti. मेरी बात सुनिए सुनिए everyone is invited to participate in Aarti. We will ask you to stand in a few minutes. Tara, who's sanitizing? Anjani and Indira will be standing in the middle of the Mandir. They will have sanitizing bottles in their hands. The objective is for you to pass by and take some sanitizer in your hands and sanitize your hands before you go to the thali, because it will be exchanged with other people. So please, everyone, please walk by them and get some before you proceed to the aarti. Thali, please. सब लोग खड़े हो जाए, आरती करेंगे. पर्वतवासिनी
सुनो मेरी देवी पर्वतवासिनी
तेरा पार न पाया, तेरा पार न पाया। बच्चों सुनो और देखो, हाथ जोड़कर। Children, we clasp hands in front of our chest like this. This is the prescribed way. Parents, show the children, please, in front of your chest like this, and bow your heads. This is the way we pray. And as we pray, we give thanks to God for this day, that we were able to gather together, to listen to the glories of God and to sing His name, and to be together as people, as a family, as a community. We thank you and ask you, O Lord, to forgive us whatever errors we might have made here today. No live otherwise. And we beseech you, O Bhagavan, to be our constant guidance, our sustenance and protection as we continue to live in your world. I ask you to listen to the voices of Nirvana, Shivana, Dhruv and Rudra as they will chant together the closing prayers. Om Hari Om Hari Om.
त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धु च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देवा, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देवा। जयन्ती मङ्गलाकाली भद्रकाली कपालिनी, दुर्गा क्षमा शिवा धात्री, स्वाहा स्वधा नमोस्तुते, स्वाहा स्वधा नमोस्तुते। ॐ नमो
शान्ति
अन्तरिक्षं शान्ति, पृथिवी शान्ति, रापः शान्ति, पृष्ठय शान्ति, वनस्पतय शान्ति, विश्वदेवा शान्ति, ब्रह्मा शान्ति, सर्वं शान्ति,
शान्तिरेव
शान्ति सामा शान्तिरेधि।
शीश झुकाकर धरती पर प्रणाम. We bow heads touching the ground. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Astu Ma
सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मा अमृतं गमय।
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि
पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्।
बोले सियापति रामचंद्र भगवान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, गणपति भगवान की जय, लक्ष्मी नारायण भगवान की जय, हनुमान जी महाराज की जय, सद्गुरुदेव भगवान की जय, व्यास जी महाराज की जय। धर्म की जय हो, अधर्म का नाश हो, प्राणियों में सद्भावना हो, विश्व का कल्याण हो। धरती माता की जय हो, भारत माता की जय हो। नमः पार्वती पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव हर हर महादेव
सत्य सनातन धर्म की
जय
धन्यवाद मन शांति as I mentioned earlier please take Bhagavan home with you the one that you brought with you and please keep that Bhagavan with you at all times whether you're inside outside asleep or awake remember God is with you at all times Om Shanti 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 please take your arati prasad and Preeti Bhojan is prepared for everyone it is a takeaway Bhojan so please take on your way out Dhanyavad